Welcome back to
Real Love Scenario.
We're back with another episode this week.
Guys.
We are almost at 100 reviews right now. We're at 94.
Because it's my birthday.
Yes, it is. Your birthday's coming up.
I love it when y'all listen. Thank you.
We're almost there. We're almost there. So for those who listen, it's over 100. It's over 200. It's over 300. It's over 400. Over 500. It's over 600.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of y'all that listen to this episode every week, especially in the audio. So it would really make us happy if you continue to give us like a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify as you listen to the episode.
Please do.
How was your week?
It was good. It was busy. We've been working.
We've been working.
Woo, fresh off of a gig yesterday.
Yes.
And we running on fumes a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a smidge. But we can't leave y'all hanging.
No, we can't. We can't.
No.
So I went to Atlanta to film with a lot of guests, as you remember.
Yes.
For the Don't Call Me White Girl show.
Yes.
And you helped a lot remote with putting everything together for those guests.
My pleasure.
And then we had Charm City Live that
Absolutely.
we hosted, which was really dope.
Yes, in Baltimore. Shout out to Mayor Brandon Scott.
For sure.
Maya and the entire Charm TV team, Rex and Parks, just the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to y'all. Y'all
It was definitely a vibe. It was the bonfire. It was Trevor Jackson. It was
Joe. John B.
Stokely
Price.
was amazing.
Stokely was so good.
He was so
good.
That old and
55 years old.
He was. I don't think I could do all that.
You
By song
can.
2, I would have been like,
You'll be fine. You'll be able to do that, Dry. You'll be able to do that. No, but he was great. He was amazing to talk to and everything. And it'll be airing. So we'll make sure we give you guys that information because you'll be able to watch the special, see their performances. We interviewed most of those people.
We did.
Yeah.
Then up early this morning to do this.
Yeah.
And Rhonda's flying out. I have family in town. Then I got an event on Monday, and
it's a lot going on.
It's
a lot going on. But this is the life we wanted, right?
This is the life we wanted, and we're living it.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump in. You ready?
Let's do it. I'm excited about this one this week. I don't know why I always get so excited when guys write in because I feel like guys don't really write in. So let's hear from one of our gentlemen listeners. This is from Alfie. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. He says, I met this girl on Hinge. We met up 2 times. We spoke every day, calls, FaceTimes, and text messages. When we met up, we did share intimate moments, but nothing too serious. I mistakenly thought she wanted to take the situation serious, so I got cold feet and ghosted her. A few months later, I apologized and explained why I did what I did. She forgave me, but rightly said that I should have communicated better. I asked her if she would like to meet up again. She agreed and we went out. The meetup was good as we reconnected. To skip to the point, I told her that I want to get to know her better, make up for what I did wrong, and possibly take this serious again. She agreed. However, I feel like she is making me work unnecessarily hard to win her attention. All of a sudden, she's too busy to reply, and she's making me put in all the effort. He put it in all caps. That's why I said it like that. I feel like if I put too much effort in, she will get the ick, as she knows the ball is in her court and I'm feeling her. But if I don't put in the effort, she'll say I'm not a man of my word. I feel conversation with her is quite difficult and she's making it hard for me on purpose. Do you think I should keep pursuing, as I really do want to get back with her? Or do you just think she's taking me for a ride as she likes the feeling of being chased? I know I may not be on her priority of people to speak to, but I'd rather her just be honest with me rather than just say use the I'm busy excuse. Sometimes I'm too afraid to speak up and tell her how I feel because I genuinely feel like I'm walking on eggshells. Do you think she's right for doing this? Let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room real quick. Because I don't know if I'm just of a certain age where I didn't understand what the ick, she's going to get the ick is, but I come in here and I'm like, Dre, what's the ick?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Dre, like, I don't know. I had to Google it. So the ick is when someone did like you, but then suddenly they don't like you. So for those of you who might have needed context like me, yes.
I thought it was missing a D at first.
I did. I thought that the word was spelled wrong. And I'm like, but even if you put that, it didn't make sense. So,
and sometimes you start looking at the keyboard like, what letters are around?
Or was it pick? Not sick. I just, I don't know. But we're clear. We're straight. Thanks for writing in.
Thank you so much. There's a lot to dive in with this. So I think let's start in the beginning. Number one, for those who are watching, I know that we have some younger viewers and older viewers. I guess we're part of the older crowd.
Perhaps.
There's some things we don't know. But Hinge is a dating app for those who...
Yes, Hinge is a dating app. That I do know.
Yes, we do know that. So I think I want to start in the beginning and sharing when he talks about he ghosted her.
Yes.
Right?
I'm going to let you go first, baby. I'm going to sit back.
No, it's just... When I first heard that, I thought about like, there's so many things in life. In life, you do a lot of things and you feel like sometimes that if you can do something else to just reverse those situations.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you take actions and there is no way to reverse those what happened.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yes.
Like that scar is still there. That stain is still there. And there's nothing that you can do to really get rid of that. That's why they say first impressions are so important, because somebody can keep that impression of you. Even if you change, that will still be their image in their head of you and their depiction of you from that first impression.
Yeah.
So when he says he ghosted her and he talks later about like how she's acting different and stuff like that, once they reconnect, it's like, because you made that decision, you made your bed to a certain extent.
Yes.
If you didn't do that, then possibly things would be different. But to think that because you are showing her that you're interested now, that she should just forget that, you have to understand that every action has consequences.
Absolutely.
And you need to be like, as much as it may suck, you have to be accountable for the things that you did.
Of course. And that, to quote a song that I love by JoJo.
Okay.
I believe the name of the song, it's just a little too late. Too little, too late. I'm not going to say that totally about this situation, but I agree with you that, once you do something, and it's so many things about, I think if you're a faithful follower of this show, we've talked about ghosting many times, and I'm not a fan of it. And I know some people feel like that's the right thing to do. That's cool because you don't owe people anything. Nothing got that serious. So whatever, we don't have to have no long conversation about why we don't want to talk anymore.
Yeah.
But ghosting someone to me is just, it's rude. It's very rude. Even if you thought, because you didn't say, you and her talked and she said, I want to get serious. And you were like, that's not really what I want. So then I just chose not to talk to her anymore. You assumed that she wanted to get serious.
Yeah.
And then you cut her off with no explanation. And now you're like, she making me work hard to get it back. Damn right. Like, you lucky that she's talking to you at all. And maybe that sounds like, I don't know, arrogant. But I do feel like when you cut someone off, like you just abruptly stop talking to them when you all clearly were intimate, but not too serious. So I'm assuming that means maybe you had some level of intimacy, but you didn't go all the way.
Yeah.
And then you just up and decide, boop, done. Some women would not even talk to you anymore after that. And then you said a few months later, you didn't even like think about it in a couple of weeks and then apologize. You let her go away for months and then apologize and explain what you did. And then she's like, okay, cool. So really, like it's very much giving you're complaining about having to do the work to undo, like you said, to try to undo what you did. Yeah. And I'm looking for the problem here. What's the problem? Because she's giving you the platform, right? She's giving you the space to show her that, cool, he said he wants back. But what does she have to make her feel that you won't do this again? Yeah. She has nothing other than now you have to build up new credit. Now you have to try to show and prove that you won't do that again. And I think it's also interesting that like, now after a few months later, now you want to be serious.
Yeah.
It's all very interesting.
Yeah. I remember a guy came and spoke to my high school one time and he was just like, every action has a consequence, but you can't determine what that consequence is going to be. Mm-hmm. Like, and that's where a lot of people get in trouble, right? They take an action and they think, this will be the outcome or this will be the outcome. It's like, if I step on somebody's shoe or if I slap somebody in the face walking down the street, either they're going to punch me or run or something like that. You don't know what could happen. It's like they could wait, let you go, follow you home, burn your house down. Like, you don't know what the consequences of every action will be. Mm-hmm. But it's like, for somebody, like I said, initially in this situation, it's like, you can't get mad that she is guarded or feel some type of way because you did what you did first.
And that you say you accept or you realize that you're not a priority to her. But you kind of like want to be. And I think the theme that I keep hearing with this is communication. And so it makes me want to kind of pose this question to you. Like, we talk about how much communication is important.
Yeah.
Like, do you think he would be pushing it too much if he just had an open conversation with her? Like, listen, I know that this is what I did. That was a mistake. You already say you apologize for it. But even right now, you're writing into us and kind of assumptively trying to figure out what she's doing. So it's like, do you think he should just say to her, like, listen, I like you, but I'm just worried. I feel like you're making me work hard for this. Like, I feel like you're pushing a little too hard on being busy. Do you think he should say that to her, or should he just kind of lay back and just work hard for it and don't bring it up?
No, I think I'm big on communicating.
Yeah.
Because that's the second part, is that, all right, you made a mistake. You're suffering the consequences of your actions. But also, I think that people should give themselves grace and know that, like, I can make mistakes, and that's fine for me to make mistakes. And if I knew better, I probably would have did better. And I know that I made a mistake, and you need to forgive yourself. But then it's like, moving forward, if you know what you want out of a relationship now, I think it's always not dumb, because I don't want to use that word, but I never got where people, it's like, you want something.
Yeah.
The person that you're with is not giving it to you, but you're scared to communicate with the person that you're talking to what you want, in fear that if they don't agree, then you won't get them at all.
Right.
And it's like, if you want something, communicate it. And if they aren't willing to give it, then that probably isn't the person for you. So if they walk away, once you express what you want, probably isn't the person for you. So for him to say, like, I'm walking on eggshells because if I communicated, basically, like, what if she doesn't want to do it? Then she don't want to do it.
She doesn't want to do it.
And that's
you didn't want to do it.
Exactly. And then that's not the person for you, because ultimately you want something. If she's not willing to do it, then that's not the person for you.
Yeah.
You should be scared to walk on eggshells. So you're just going to sit and continue to do something that you don't feel comfortable with, or do something that you don't want to do because you're scared that you might lose them completely because they don't agree. I feel like there's so many relationships like that, and so many like situations like that, to where people are just feel like they're stuck in a situation because they don't want to express how they truly feel in fear of losing the person.
Yeah. I think about anything that the saying that says anything worth having is worth working hard for. And you can apply that in life, like across anything. And I think when you work hard for something, you tend to value it more when you have to sometimes put in more effort. And I don't mean like unnecessarily hard, like I remember you and I were having a conversation. No, it was on a podcast. And it was, I think Mona asked you, like, did Bree play hard to get? Like, did you have to really jump through a bunch of hoops? And you were like, nah, I mean, it was easy. Easy, not as in like I put in no effort and she just, was putty in my hands. It's like, no, you did have to work at it. She just didn't play games with you.
Yeah, there's no games.
So I think in his situation, like, yes, you want to try to figure out and make sure that she's not just gaming you, as in she's letting you come back in her space just to do to you what you did to her, because that would be a game. Not saying you don't deserve it, but that would be a game. Because even sometimes if I'm harmed or I don't like when something happens in a dating experience, I don't in turn try to kick that behavior back. Not all the time. Sometimes I ain't gonna hold y'all. I'll be like, okay, two can play that game. But anything that you have to put effort into, to me, that it makes it all the more worth having. Like, you had to really show effort. You had to step up and prove to her that you really are into her and that you're serious this time and that you do really want to get to know her, and you're not just going to walk away in the blink of an eye when you think things are going a certain way. So to me, that should be a welcomed challenge, that like I can actually show her that I am actually apologetic. Because you can apologize with words, but most people say there's no better apology than changed behavior. So she wants to see that you are sorry for what you did. Maybe she is a very, beautiful, amazing woman who did not deserve to be ghosted, who probably wasn't necessarily pushing on you too much. So it's like, dude, like, it's okay. It's actually okay. And I think thinking about dating from a single woman's perspective, that is some of the thing that I see the most, this theme of like, lack of effort, like from planning dates to making designated time to, chivalry, just to that courting process. I'm not saying that women should not participate in it today. And I think women have always participated in it. But I do find that like guys just sometimes don't feel like they got to work hard for it. And
yeah,
it's
you're
like,
not entitled to anything.
No, I think we're both working for this if we want it. But it looks very different. And I am of a certain age, I'm a little old fashioned when I say that I feel like men, especially in the dating process, I feel like men should pick up more of the effort. I really, really do. I really think that women, not that men aren't the prize, but women are just like delicate. And that's a part of what makes us melt and like fall for you. It's like you showing and proving that you really want me, and you're going to get that back. Don't get it twisted. You're going to get that back. But like, again, I think about you and Bree. I think about when you guys were just meeting and just dating and we were working together. And I remember the effort that you were putting in to see her, to date her. It wasn't that when she showed up, she didn't look beautiful or she didn't make you feel nice. She did. But you didn't have a problem with, like, Dre old school, y'all. Dre's plan a date and go pick you up from the house, from your house. Like, you're not meeting me at the restaurant. You're not meeting me at the spot. Like, that type of stuff is, it's so just like dreamy.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you got to put in a little more work. You can handle it, brother.
I think he needs to think about any situation in his life. Because I think, you know how I am. I always speak in metaphors and analogies and stuff like that. And really that came from, they used to say in the Bible that Jesus was the best teacher and Jesus told parables. And the reason you do that is because you want the biasness to kind of be removed from a situation. If you could view it from a lens to where it's not talking about your relationship or your emotion, then you'll look at it and be like, that makes total sense. And I want him to look at it that way. It's like, look at any other situation in your life. If you were engaged with someone, whether it was a conversation, whether it was a business deal or anything like that, and they burned you and then they went ghost, and then you're calling them and you thought you had something and an understanding about something and they just left. Wouldn't you, if you continue the relationship with them again, wouldn't you be a little like burned or be a little side-eyed with them, or won't fully commit, or definitely they won't be a priority because you remember the first encounter, they left you high and dry. So you can't blame her for not making you a priority. Like, I wouldn't make you a priority either.
No.
Until you showed over time that, you are trustworthy. Now that's your decision of if you want to continue to put in that work, and it's her right to wait for you to put in the work because of your past behavior. So it's all on what you want. But it's funny because what he's kind of going through, I went through both of these kind of situations with the two different girls kind of at the same time though. So I was like talking to a girl who I was interested in. And now that I look back, it's like we wouldn't have been great in a relationship at all. But I thought she was attractive. She was attracted to me. And that was one of the first girls that like just wanted to like physically be with me and not like a relationship. And it was just different because I had never, most women always like, oh yeah, if they into you and they like you and they feel like you're attractive, everything. They want to be in a relationship with you. And that was the first one. And I was just like I feel like you can't be consistent with me. I said, honestly, I was like, I am attracted to you. Obviously you're attracted to me. I feel like, we can continue and, make a relationship out of this, but I just feel like you're not being consistent. Do you feel like you can be consistent? And basically she was like, I feel like you would be the type of guy that I would marry. Not ready right now. I don't feel like I could be consistent. Cut her off. And then I started talking to another girl. The other girl was more like a fun girl. I knew from the beginning I would never take her home to my parents. Like I would never, but she was dope. Not anybody I ever dated before. Completely different, like different vibe, different look, different everything. But we just had we always had a great time together. So I was like, this is just a fun experience. Knew in the back of my head, like, I'm not going to do this. So we met through kind of a mutual friend. So after talking, we were talking for weeks, things were going good. Like, and I was like, yo, this is dope. And then all of a sudden she kind of like went ghost a little bit, like to the point to where I'm like, yo, she not hit me back no more. Boom, boom, boom. Come to find out, I had a conversation with a friend, and the friend is like, I found out that later on, after me and the girl reconnected, that the friend told the girl I was talking to that I wanted like something serious. And in my head, I'm like,
wait, how?
I know for sure I didn't want anything serious. Wow. It was just fun for me.
Yeah.
But she told her that I wanted something serious. So then it came to a point to where she, I guess, kind of ghosted me because she thought I wanted something serious. And I was just like, that's dumb. And then when we started talking, I was like, look at the actions that I took over this whole relationship or the whole time we've been talking. What actions have shown you that I've wanted something more?
Well, did the mutual friend know about the other situation where you were open to something more serious?
Nah, not really.
No. So I was going to say maybe the wires got crossed and it was like you were open to something serious with the other girl. So maybe they were like, yeah, he wants something serious. It's like, yeah, with her, not with her.
I think it was more like maybe she misinterpreted something that I said.
Okay.
But then after that, when I went to the other girl who I wanted something serious with started getting jealous, and then she started like coming back to me. It was just a whole situation.
I see.
You know both of these people.
I feel like I remember parts of this story.
But anyway, I've been through both of these situations, and in my situation, if I feel like you're not being consistent and I want consistency, I'm gonna communicate it, no matter what I did before or what I did after, because that's what I want. Yeah. And if you aren't willing to give me what I want, then you're not the person for me in this moment, and I'm not the person for you if you're looking for me to do more or want me to say more.
Yeah.
And in the situation of the ghosting, I've been in that situation too, and I know it does. Like if somebody ghosts you for no reason, especially like you said, you thought she wanted something serious. What if she ain't want nothing serious?
Right.
And she looking at you like,
what's up? Right.
Like we was just cooling. Like we
was having a good time.
We was having a good time.
And you're now nowhere to be found.
And that's one thing that I think people need to remember too, is like, don't assume that everybody is just gung-ho wants a relationship with you all the time. Some people are just kind of dating. Some people are just kind of seeing how things go. Some people are busy and they just like want somebody to just like have companionship with. Like when I have a free weekend, like, or a free weekend night or a weekday night, like just being able to go out and hang out with somebody who I have good conversation with. And also, it's a lot of fun. Bria said this about, she had invited somebody over our house one time, and it wasn't, she didn't invite one of her friends that she like is, you know, close with and besties. She invited somebody new because she's like, it's sometimes fun just to like meet somebody new and to have like those conversations where you don't really know anything about anybody. And the conversations can sometimes be better. Like with your friends, sometimes like, you know every single thing about them.
I'm not gonna go off on a tangent, but I was just having this conversation with one of my friends, this whole concept of like no new friends, which I get it. You know, you've been friends with people for a certain amount of time. You have comfort with that.
For sure.
But like new energy and new vibes just on a platonic thing is sometimes like so refreshing because you're like, I haven't had these types of conversations in a while because you only have these types of conversations through discovery.
For sure.
When you have 20 years in with someone, it's nothing wrong with that relationship. That relationship is great and it's solid, but we don't have a lot of discovery in that situation. So anyway, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it's more with friendships now, you're discussing current events to a certain extent versus like, oh, where are you from?
Wow.
How'd you grow up? Like, oh, what made you do this? And how'd you get into this and that and that? Like that, those conversations are fun when you get to have those.
Yes.
But I digress. That was just my experience with.
You set that up perfectly though for me to kind of ask this I guess set of questions around what are the signs to look for when someone is serious? Because in his situation, he assumed she wanted to be serious. In your situation, same thing. But you said to her, like, well, what did you get? Why would you think that when I'm clearly showing you that I don't really want to be serious? So what does that look like? And maybe you answer it for what it looks like when you're not being too serious instead of what it looks like when you're being serious.
That's such a tough thing, man. Over my years now of seeing not only how I operate, but being observant of how other people operate, like what serious is. Because I realize that some people don't think certain things are that big of a deal to where other people do think things are big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like the girl that I'm talking about, I'm sitting there looking like, you thought I was serious. your mom came in town and you had me at dinner with your mom and your brother. You invited me to that. You introduced me to your mom. That's a serious step to me, to somebody who you don't know. And you're like, we just started like talking. I'm like, that seems like more of a serious action.
That would be serious to me, but I'm learning that people take people around their family members all willy-nilly.
Right. So it's like, that's what makes it hard, because there's so many different actions that like people take people on trips just willy-nilly, or people buy people nice gifts just willy-nilly. And it's just like, oh no, I don't, like, I do this. And I'm like, I don't operate like that, to where I meet people's family or introduce people to my family or buy them nice things and stuff like that, if I'm not even remotely like serious with them.
Yeah.
So I think number one is probably just time, because I think over time people truly reveal like who they are and what their intentions are. And I think that that's really the bottom level is intentionality. Is that you got to think certain things are easy, like buying gifts and things like that can be easy, especially if somebody has money.
Right.
It's nothing. Like,
it's nothing.
I don't care. Like, I can buy you a gift, whatever. But I think it's the intentionality. One thing I'm learning in marriage is not putting up with the things that you don't want to put up with, but just being there for somebody is so important. Like, as somebody, if you're somebody's partner or somebody's like significant other, being a sounding board is one of the most genuine and intentional things that you could do with somebody. Even if they don't, even if you don't really care about what they're talking about or even understand it, just being there as they have their raw thoughts and they're just spitting it out. And like, those are the moments to when you know, like, somebody's really like here for me. They're here not just for the glamour of me, but they're here through the things that aren't that pretty, that are icky, that are icky, that ick, if I'm using that right.
You're not, but it's okay.
That give you the ick.
The ick.
Okay.
Like, the ick is like an actual thing.
So you're there for the conversations that give you the ick.
You're there for the conversations. No, you can't use the ick in this sentence at all.
Oh, wow. Okay. You're there for icky conversations. I'm going with my terminology that I grew up with. You're there for icky conversations.
That part, let's just not go there. Let's scratch it. Cut that part out, Dre.
I don't know how to use. I don't know. This is not good for me. Wow, I'm getting old.
Yeah, it's all right. Welcome.
Yeah. Wow.
The person is there for you.
Yes, the person
even when it's not pretty.
Even when it's not pretty. Yes. Yeah, that's how I know that somebody's serious. There is, and like I said with Brie and I, there weren't games. If you're into somebody and they're into you equally, I don't feel like there's a lot of games that come with that. They're excited to see when you text them good morning or hey. If they do miss your call, they are apologetic. They didn't mean to miss it. Like, you know what I mean? They call you back and say like, oh, my bad. I was actually busy. I missed your call, Or if they know that you guys talk often, hey, I'm running into a meeting for a few hours. If you don't hear from me, this is what I'm doing. Okay. There are no games. That's intentionality, and that's somebody who's serious. They, if they do make a mistake, they apologize because they knew it wasn't on purpose. Yeah. They didn't mean to do that. Yeah. And that's the difference. No games. Yeah. No games.
No games. No games. Hashtag no games.
Hashtag no games.
I'm gonna just go ahead on and share. Not a real love scenario, but just, I met someone recently. Yeah. Well, it was a couple months ago. We're not talking anymore. And it came down to communication in getting to know each other. And my expectations around that did not align with his expectations around that. He was a texter, wasn't he? No, he was not a texter. He actually, most of the time we communicated, it was on FaceTime. Okay. But he essentially said to me at one point, and it was after I called him and I got his voicemail. So I assumed his phone was dead or whatever. And then I think he called me back like a couple hours later, and we got off the phone, or maybe the phone hung up, and I went to call back and the voicemail came on, and then he called me back. So then I was like, oh, maybe that's do not disturb, right? That's not his voicemail. So I was like, is your phone on do not disturb? And he said, yes, my phone is always on do not disturb. Like I never have my phone in a setting that is not do not disturb. And I'm like, okay, that's
interesting.
That's weird. Like, I don't even understand it. And I saw a meme floating around here recently, like people who always have their phone on do not disturb are serial killers. And it just made me die laughing because I just don't even understand why anybody would want their phone on do not disturb constantly unless you are someone who is probably like of major notoriety where your phone probably rings a lot. Like if you're a star or, you know, you're a very, very busy person. So you want to control how much you hear or see your phone flashing. But like the average person, like myself, like him, I'm just like, that's weird. On top of that, he's a dad. He's a father.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, you'll get, like, do you have a list where people can get through? He was like, no, like not even my mother. He was like, my mom is not even, is do not disturb across the board. So for me, that was a red flag.
Yes.
May not be a red flag to anybody else. They might think he's just choosing his peace. Cool. Not my kind of thing. Because if I am in an emergency situation, if you don't have your own kids and your mama
can't reach you
in the exception list, well, I'm not making that list.
Yeah.
Like it's no way. So that then led to this conversation around communication and what he feels is appropriate during the dating process. And he was like I don't feel like we should talk every day. Like I don't need to talk to you every day. Like any woman I'm dating, I don't feel like I need to talk to them every day. So I'm like, okay, like period. And he was like, I mean, like through this getting to know process and before we get in a relationship, you know, I just don't feel like what's the point? He was like, honestly, I don't even need to. It's like if I take a vacation for work, like if my job sends me somewhere for a couple of weeks, like he's like, let's say we've been kicking it, we've been dating. Would you want to join me on that trip? And I was like, well, if there was an opportunity to come for some portion of it and like, you're my person, of course I would want to come. And he's like, yeah, see, I would want my girl to like, not, I don't even want you to ask. I want you to stay where you are. Like, do not come here. I'm not going to ask you to come here. So it just opened up this whole entire conversation around him feeling like I want to check in when I want to check in. And I don't want you to check in when you want to check in. Because I'm like, how does that work? Do you get to just control how we communicate and how we see and talk to each other? So cool. It's times I don't want to talk, right? Full transparency. I think we all have that feeling. But I'm not necessarily pushing you away. And if you try to reach me and it's in those couple of hours or evenings where I'm just not in the mood to talk, I'm going to get back to you within 24 hours if I like you, you know what I mean? Like, and if I don't like you, I'm not talking to you at all anyway. So I just could not understand his mindset. And he just was like, no, like, I said, so are you trying to date seriously? He's like, yes. So how you want to date seriously, but you don't want to talk every day? I don't actually understand that. Like, I've never met someone that I was dating, working towards something serious, and we did not communicate daily. Now, we may not talk on the phone for 2 hours every day. We may not FaceTime every single day, but no communication at all. I've never experienced that. And needless to say, he and I don't talk anymore because that is just, I don't even understand it. I might call him on a Tuesday, Dre. He would reach out to me like on Friday, like, hey, I'm like, where you been? I don't say that, but it's what I'm thinking, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
So somebody like, you dating him? You like, I think
I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. Is he dating me?
I'm waiting to hear back to confirm that.
I'm not sure. And what's funny is when I did it back to him and I brought this up to use to show and prove that sometimes I have been like, let me give you a little bit of your medicine. Yeah. Yes. He reached out to me. I was perfectly in position to take the call when I first saw it. I did not answer it. Waited a whole day. He reached out again. I ignored it. By the time I answered, Dre, it was a FaceTime call. It's the third time, which was maybe another day later.
Yeah.
When I pick up the FaceTime, he answers. When I answer it, he's like this. Y'all can't, for those of you who can't, you're listening and you can't see me. His face is like, have you lost your damn mind? So I'm like, hey, I'm acting perfectly normal, right? Yeah. Because that's the vibes here.
Yeah.
And he's like, I mean, I've been calling you. I'm like, excuse me. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense to me. So what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. And that's that in the full circle that brings me back around to Alfie, that you could do something. You could do something that's not that favorable to her, something that she didn't necessarily like. I'm sure she did not like being ghosted. You apologize for it.
Yeah.
But now when she's kind of putting you on the back burner, or not giving you the energy you're looking for, now it's like, is she playing with me? Should I just let her go? You writing in a real love scenario, like, tell me what I need to do with this girl.
Yeah.
It's like, if you can't take people for granted, right?
Exactly.
That's the kind of the moral of the story. Everything does not work out. Dating is all about compatibility and finding your person. But if you have someone that you're really enjoying, and even if you're getting a bit of a vibe that you don't like, or it seems like maybe it's moving too fast, it could just be worth a conversation, not a cutoff. Like, hey, I do really like you. I am really enjoying this, but I'm getting a sense that you're taking this too serious, and I just want to check in with you. You could have just done that.
And you know what? A lot of people who are at odds with somebody love to hear you acknowledging that you did something wrong in the situation. So even you saying, like, I know that me ghosting you originally, may put you in a mindset that I'm not serious about you. But I took the time to think about it and look it over. I know I was wrong.
Yeah.
And I know that in this moment you probably don't trust, but I'm willing to show you, that I am interested in you and I am serious. And I know that might take some time. Like, even just saying something like that lets that person know, like, even if they're like, they may think you're BSing or not, in the back of their head, they're going to hear that and know that at least you acknowledge that that you messed up, and that part of what you're doing and how you're moving forward is to show that you are serious in that situation. But I want to go back to something you said. This may be off topic, but it's still about relationships.
It's okay.
It's about relationships. But when you're talking about, like, him saying, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that when you're dating, I want you to talk like this and I want to communicate like that, it made me think of, like, dating rules and people like who have all these rules for dating.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I understand that you put a lot of things in place that kind of help you to evaluate people and make sure that you're, like, filtering in and out the people that you want and don't want.
Yeah.
But I think you have to, like, when you're dating, you have to, like, set up a mechanism, right, of, like, this is what I won't stand for, this is what I will stand for.
Yeah.
But you have to allow space for, like, the emotions and everything to kind of flood in to see how you feel based off of the person's actions. Like, saying that I don't feel like we should talk every day shouldn't be a rule. It should be, like, based off of how you're acting towards me, how do I feel? Do I want to talk to you every day?
Exactly.
Do I desire to talk to you every day?
Yeah.
And then if you feel that feeling, then that's like, oh, that's a good feeling.
That's a good feeling.
Versus saying, like, I will talk to you this time and I will talk to you that time. That kind of defeats the purpose.
It makes it too rigid.
You don't get to, and while you think that helps your evaluation, it actually hinders it because you aren't able to determine what person is actually giving you the feelings of wanting to talk to them every day and be with them every day and spend time with them. Like, from dating, not for years and years, but
for years and years.
For dating, that every dating experience goes different based off the person that you're with. Sometimes you see people, like, them relationships where it's like, yo, I seen this person every day for the first, like, 3 days. Like, I don't know what happened. It's just, I'm having fun. We're feeling it. Like, stars and everything.
Butterflies.
Some people, it's like a slow start. And then it's like, sometimes you hit a stride on, like, date 2 or 3. And it's like, there's different ways that things can operate. But I think you build up your mechanism and your lines of, like, all right, this happened, I'm done. If this happened, I'm done. But you gotta leave space for, like,
you gotta leave space for the feeling,
to overtake you. And
that is such good advice. Like, leave space for the feelings to happen. That is that good compatibility and chemistry evaluation period. And like you said, good or bad. And so for me, what's interesting about that particular person is I told him very honestly, like, that's not my style. And I'm not saying that your style is wrong. That's what works for you. So you've got to find somebody who's cool with this. Like, there's some woman who feels like you. I don't want to talk every day. My phone's on do not disturb. Like, I'll get with you when I get with you. And when I don't, I don't. Like, fine. You're not wrong. neither am I. But what's going to wind up happening is if you and I keep trying to talk and keep trying to make this work when we are so different in these two things, we're going to be irritated. I'm going to be irritated because I'm like, hello, like, how you doing? Where you been? Can we set up a date? Can we do anything? And you're going to be like, what's the big deal? I don't know. I need to talk to you every day. Like, we're just going to butt heads, or I'm going to be calling or checking in and you're going to be like, why you call so much? It just doesn't work. It's oil and water. It will not mix. So no one's wrong. That's what dating is all about, is figuring out, are we right more often than not? Are things lining up more often than not? If we get to level 1 and level 1 clashes, all right, cool. Maybe that was just a flag. You get to level 2 clashes. Yeah, it's probably not. It's just too many things. And you said on another episode, I am focused on finding and having a happy and healthy relationship.
Yeah, not you.
Not you. Not just you. It's got to be you. It does not have to be you. And at now 38, about to be 39, just a few days. I don't want to say I want easy, because I'm happy to do the work, but I feel like I'm really clear about what I want and what I don't want. And I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste my time trying to like force something that is completely against how either of us fundamentally feel.
Yeah.
So that was just, kind of just a take on like, I'm really feeling this. I'm not feeling it. And I would rather get you out of here. And like Bree said, the faster you fall, the faster I can get to the next one. Let's move on.
And I think it's important what you said. I want all people to know that if somebody in the beginning is setting rules for you on how you need to date them or how they need to date, like, that's not a good sign. No. That's a sign of somebody who's controlling. And as you go deeper into that relationship, it's just going to be more controlling and more controlling
just
and more
controlling. Just putting in too many barriers.
Yeah.
Too many barriers. And funny enough, barriers that they themselves do not want to maintain and uphold.
The double standard.
Get out of here. Get the out of here. Okay.
So we're saying with Alfie. Well, it's funny. He said, do you think she's right for doing this?
We don't think she's really doing anything. And like I said, even if, and I'm going to play, because Alfie, we appreciate you writing in. And if this woman is in fact playing games now, like I said, it's a conversation. I think to some degree you can pick up on that, but if she is playing games, it's a conversation. But if she is just playing hard to get, or just not letting you come back in just off of an apology, she's not doing anything to you.
Well, my thing is that from reading this whole thing, it sounds like it's more an Alfie thing than it is her. Because even in the beginning, he said he ghosted her because he thought she wanted things more serious.
Yeah, he said he got cold feet.
Yeah, he got cold feet. So from then to even now, how do we even know that she ever wanted anything serious with you from the beginning?
True.
So it's like in the beginning, y'all were doing stuff. You got cold feet because you assumed that she wanted something serious.
Yep.
And now you're like, what do I do? She's not showing me that she wants something serious to a certain extent. Like, maybe she never wanted that.
It's possible.
That's possible that she never wanted that. Maybe she enjoys your companionship and stuff like that. But like, and I encourage Alfie, you to listen to her when she speaks. Not saying that you aren't, but maybe there's things in what she says, whether you are having conversations and she's talking about work, or you have conversations and she's talking about her future, or she you may be a conversation where she was like, hey, I'm thinking about moving to Houston. Like, I don't know. Like, I really like it down there. She ain't asking you what you think. Right. Like, maybe she's in a point to where she's not really focused on like long-term companionship right now, because she's just trying to figure her own thing out, and she maybe enjoys spending time with you. Yep. But you can get that from certain conversations, that maybe this is where somebody's mindset is. And if somebody's mindset is there, I'm not saying that there's nothing that you can do to convince them, but I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket of trying to convince somebody to want to be with you, because like we said, a lot of times if you open up yourself to have feelings and emotions with somebody, if you really are vibing with that person and care about that person and are enjoying your time with that person, those emotions will overtake that plan that you had.
Facts.
In your head. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like, Bree had that plan when we first got together. It was like, oh, I'm going to move to DC and I'm just going to focus on this and focus on that. But when you meet somebody and like I said, that feeling overtakes you, it's like, Whoa,
Wait,
hold
up.
This is not in my plans, but there's.
Hey, boy, I'm not running no more. I'm ready.
It feels like there's nothing you could do about it. So
Yeah.
I think that maybe, she doesn't feel that way about you right now.
Yeah.
But the simplest way, as we said, most of this episode is just have a conversation.
Have the talk.
Yeah.
Just have the talk with her.
But she didn't do anything wrong. So when you have that conversation, you're not saying anything that can make her feel defensive, to make her feel like she's doing anything wrong. You want something, you notice something or observe something, and you're just letting her know how you feel about it, but not blaming her. It's not, you don't hit me back, you're not serious, you don't seem to be serious about me. And it's like, I think that's not the way. That's not the way. And that doesn't mean that that's what's happening in her mind. Right. So don't blame or assume that she's doing anything with her conversation about you. Just talk about your feelings and how those things make you feel, what you would like, and then leave it at that. And I think that she'll be honest with you. And then, like I said, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But
it doesn't. And if she does, I mean, again, that sometimes people get thrown off just by honest conversation, like a straight up question.
Yeah.
Like, because so many people don't communicate directly in that way. So I don't even think she'll get an opportunity. Again, let's say, because I'm trying to play devil's advocate. Let's say that she is just making him feel like, well, you messed up. I mean, what you want? I'm busy. Like you dropped the ball the first time. If she is doing that, asking a straight up and down direct question, like, listen, I know what we experienced. I know you didn't like that I ghosted you. I apologize. You said that you wanted to continue this, and so we can get to know each other. Do you really want that? And if you don't, and you're trying to make this difficult for me, just tell me that. Just the same way you wrote in and typed it to us, you just need to have that conversation with her. I'm going to venture to say, probably not. I think that she is actually interested in you. Perhaps not seriously, like you said. She may not know that yet. But the fact that you are still in her space and she still entertains you says that she is interested in you. But yeah, she's going to play, quote unquote, hard to get. And I think that's some of the things that I like about what I consider like really masculine men, who they enjoy pursuit in life. They enjoy the pursuit of business and money and like a woman, not like that carnal, I got to get them all type of thing. But I've heard stories. I've dated men who felt like, okay, like, challenge accepted. Like, cool. You're making it a little tough for me, or you're trying to make me believe that like you don't really want to like me this much. I'm gonna make you like me. You know what I mean? Like that's sexy. And I think like a man who can see a hurdle and jump over it, not a crazy hurdle before y'all try to drag me, because like, y'all want us to jump through all these hoops, blah, blah, blah. But I think there is something really attractive about that you're like, I'm not going to let, that stone wall, whatever it is. It could sometimes be an emotional wall where like, I'm too scared. That's one of my things. Like I have an emotional wall sometimes where I'm a little more reserved in the beginning, where some women are potentially more like free and soft in the beginning. I'm a little more guarded because my feelings have been hurt so much. And then I know once I love hard. Like it's very hard to walk that back. So it takes me a little longer to get like warmed up. So jump through the hurdle. Like it's okay. Like I promise you, if you hop over that little hurdle, the benefit on the other side of that is going to be so good. But I'm not going to play games with you. But I'm also just not going to be like, oh, you showed up for work today. Paycheck. You got to actually do the work when you get there.
When you're talking about men putting in work, but women still like not like making you jump over a huge hurdle.
Yeah.
But, being the ones kind of waiting to a certain extent for you to put in the effort and make the move, but then they'll be able to do everything for you. It reminded me of that situation. I don't know why it popped in my head of like a vending machine. Like that me as a person, right, is in that vending machine. It has everything that I want to satisfy me, my hunger, my thirst, or anything like that. But me first, I have to earn $1. I have to then input the $1. And then once I do that, then, I'm able to get what is in there. All the stuff is already there. I just have to first make the initiation.
Well, you better talk.
and of earning that dollar and then going up to that machine, putting that dollar in and making a choice consciously of saying, I want that thing. And then once I choose and do all those things with intentionality, then everything that I want is already in there. I just have to put in the effort to do that.
Close the show, Drake. Take the mics out. I'm done. He killed it. And you are the king of parables.
And that is what came in my head. I'm like, yo, that's essentially what you're saying, is that it's like, I have everything that I feel like I could, like, I offer so much.
Yes, and I'm a whole ass vending machine,
I have
baby.
so much that you could use and benefit from, and
I got
we
the
could
sodas,
work together.
I got the cookies, the candy.
I got everything.
Chips.
And I'm not saying that if you choose me that there's nothing to offer, because I have so much to offer.
Yeah.
All I'm just saying is that I want you to put in a little effort and show me that this is, there's an intentionality with you wanting to, you know, choose me to a certain extent. And once you do, boy, there's a lot that comes with that that can make you completely satisfied.
Absolutely. Just like it's a lot that comes on the other side of it. Like you being the person that earned it, you being the person that put, it's mutually beneficial. It is mutually beneficial, but absolutely earned. Man, that's it. I'm done. We can go. Wrap it up. Come on.
Oh man.
Case closed.
Well, Alfie, we hope
my next caption is gonna be, I'm a whole vending machine, baby. That's it. So when y'all see it, you know that that's where I got it from. Trey, go.
With a lot to offer. I could do a whole thing on that.
Yeah. Come on. We got leave and grieve, and we got vending machines. Ching, ching. Let's do it. Okay, so bad advice that works.
Bad advice that works in this situation.
I feel like you have some.
You think so? You've been killing it on the bad advice lately, though.
Well, let me just go ahead and get mine out the way.
Okay.
I don't have no damn bad advice that works because you already messed up. You don't need to do nothing else wrong at this point. None. So easy peasy. I don't have any for you, Alfie.
I have bad advice, but will it work is the question. Because honestly, I feel like if you try to push her in any other type of way, she's just gonna be like, all right, like,
or not. That's the sad part. That's the sad part about people. Like that girl that you just were talking about in that situation.
Yeah, you're right.
She didn't want anything, and then she found out you were talking to somebody else, and now it's like, oh, hey, just kidding. Well, I might actually now want something serious. Sometimes when you act uninterested or half interested, you get what you want. So
yeah, I guess the bad advice is more doing that. It's kind of bad advice we gave in a previous show. It's like letting her know, saying like, hey, you know, I see you're busy. You have a lot going on. I don't want to burden you with this. I am serious and want to talk to you, but you don't seem to be in that space right now. I don't want to do what I did last time. So I'm just letting you know that I just rather we be friends and we could continue to know each other, but there is no obligation. Yeah. But then live your best life.
And make sure she
sees it.
Boo. Tomato. No bad advice for Alfie. None.
And make sure she sees it. No. That was the advice you gave him.
I did. It was more fitting there. I don't like it for this scenario, Dre. Sorry.
We're not. We put disclaimers that you're not supposed to take this bad advice.
You are not supposed to take this advice.
No.
Especially you, Alfie.
No.
Especially you. Well, listen, thank you so much for writing in. We really appreciate it.
For sure.
We love it that you guys are writing in, that you're writing us reviews. Please keep doing that. If you have a real love scenario and you want us to give you our advice. Yeah, I think that's how that works. Go to our website, www.relationshiprestored.com. Click the contact button and write into us. You can also follow me on Instagram at Ronnie Cakes.
That is Trey Smith.
And it's almost my birthday.
It is. What's the plan?
No, you know, it's not a big milestone, so nothing too crazy. Gonna spend some time with friends and family, and then I'm going on a nice long European vacation. So make sure you following me.
Oh, European vacation. Okay.
So you can keep up. But yes, nothing too serious. Just enjoying life.
Okay.
That's it.
Just making sure the person wasn't anonymous, because you know.
They were not. Stop it. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Bye.